QuickBooks. I mean, it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. No problems here. But what if, I don't know, you wanted a different one? We're gonna assess 8 ledgers on 4 different things. 1, is it not QuickBooks? 2, how is it for accountant users? 3, how is it for normies? And 4, vibes. Okay, number 1, QuickBooks Desktop. Oh, too soon. Number 2, FreshBooks. How fresh, you ask? Well, it passes the first test. It's not QuickBooks. And it may actually be getting better for accountants. You've probably seen them around more lately. And that's because they've been pouring some investment into the Accounting Partner Program. An accounting partner program that makes client collaboration easy. Why get FreshBooks certified, you ask? All-in-one accounting for you and your clients. Grow your advisory-based services. Get the support you need when you need it. Real talk, advisory support, that's actually a big deal. Some of these partner programs give you like the fast track or the good people. Being able to cut the line and not go through normie support, that's actually great. And so they've got this new collaborative accounting certification. Certifications are good. It gives me a quick and easy way to get my team up to speed on a new platform. It's also a signal of it, like investment going into how we use accounting ledgers. If they're at the very least like building a partner channel, it means they're listening, which is more than we can say for some ledgers out there. I'm not talking about QuickBooks. Stop assuming. Now, ultimately, I don't think there's a ton of like accountant specific tooling in FreshBooks. I think what you basically get is like a client switcher. Yeah, so you can see all your clients in one login and hop back and forth between them. You can build those accounts either to the firm or to the client directly, but I think that's about it. Not bad, I can work with that. But how is it for normies? And this is where FreshBooks, I think, has always shown, particularly when it comes to invoicing. Super quick and easy to get rolling with it. The knock has been, they didn't always have double entry accounting. And nothing gets an accountant hot under the collar like calling something an accounting system that doesn't do accounting. Is that a hot take? I don't think that's a hot take. Perfectly reasonable, accountants. Now these days, you got double entry accounting, you got full like cash and accrual based reports. They still have a light plan that doesn't have double entry, basically like QuickBooks Self-Employed. But let's check the vibes. And if you haven't used FreshBooks before, sometimes when you just see an app, you're like, nope. Or you're like, no, I kind of like that, that's for me. As far as I'm concerned, the vibes are like fine. Like I'm not like amazed by it. It's simple. It also handles more complex stuff like projects and time tracking and all that. Again, a lot of the experience has been optimized around invoicing. It does this really well, which is where most micro businesses start with an accounting system, is having to issue invoices. But the reports these days, honestly, are totally like adequate. You can flip between accrual and cash basis, and that's fine. Like I'm probably not gonna put a huge company on FreshBooks, but it's good enough for me. Particularly if this is like my DIY option for clients. Now, interesting report here by a company called Kodat about the market share of all these different accounting platforms in different regions. In the land of the free, as you may know, we got QuickBooks, we got old QuickBooks, and we got half-baked QuickBooks. We love us some QuickBooks, and there's nobody else in the US market that has a double-digit market share. But that's actually a uniquely American thing. If you look at the UK, QuickBooks Online only has 20% of the market share. Xero's actually in the lead with 25%. But look at how long this tail is. There's just way more solutions that people are using in the UK. And I often hear in the US firms saying, well, we only need to support a single accounting ledger. And that's, I think, like a uniquely American luxury. Imagine being in the UK and having to support a whole bunch of different things. In Australia and New Zealand, Xero's miles ahead. QuickBooks Online's only 9%. So as you're thinking about like, are any of these other ledgers like real ledgers? The answer is yes, because the rest of the world, SMBs don't run on QuickBooks Online. So it's not as if you can't run a small business on something that's not QuickBooks. So outside the US for SMBs, Xero's generally gonna be number one. So let's take a look at Xero. Now we mentioned FreshBooks has like an accountant partner channel. Xero's had an accountant channel for maybe a decade plus, have historically been very accountant first. They've actually long had like smaller partner specific plans, Cashbook and Ledger, which are comparatively super cheap. Similar to what QuickBooks just launched, their itty bitty version. Xero has always had this. I ran a pretty Xero heavy firm, and over half of the client accounts that we had were on these partner plans. And why this matters is it's a signal that they're at least listening to the accountant community. Xero puts on loads of events. They have a team of folks, even in the States, like working just with partners. XeroCon is great. XeroCon's coming up in Nashville this year in August. Highly recommend you check it out. It's a very ecosystem-focused conference as well, so you're gonna see a lot of other cool vendors there. You might even see me there. Xero's got a little more in the way of like product that's specific for the accountant user. So you've got the client switcher and all that stuff, but you've also got some firm level reporting tools. They acquired a practice management system a while back, Xero Practice Manager. It's a little long in the teeth these days, but they've got as much like part of the product built specifically for accountants as anybody. Now the main gripe people have is they come over from QuickBooks and they're like, I just don't understand it. And the reality is nothing's going to match having tons of experience in something. If you have thousands of hours in QuickBooks, it doesn't matter how good Xero is. When you come over, it's just gonna take time to get acclimated. The bulk of my team vastly preferred working in Xero, but I think it was just a comfort level thing because that was what most of our like client books were in. And so they spent more time in there than anything else. A decade ago, Xero was a much better cloud accounting platform. Now, I'd say it's pretty much equal with QuickBooks. QuickBooks has come a long ways in that time, and I don't see a huge difference in them anymore. Now, for normies, this is all the accountant-facing stuff. Xero for normies is pretty good. I don't know that it's quite as simple as like your FreshBooks and your Waves and that sort of thing. And admittedly, I don't even know what an accounting tool looks like that accountants will be excited about and non-accountants. Like, is it realistic to think that both those things can be one product? I had a good number of clients that would DIY their books in Xero, and a lot of those boomeranged back, as most of my DIY clients did, because it was usually a question of like motivation and consistency, not is this the right tool for the job. I've never sent clients to an accounting platform for them to DIY and then be like, yeah, I look forward to doing this for the next decade. It's like they get a day or two into it and they're like, tell me how much it was again for you to do it for me. If you haven't used Xero before, let's do a vibe check. Xero these days, honestly, it feels maybe a bit long in the teeth. I would actually say the same thing about QuickBooks. These are like 10-plus-year-old tools now. A bit long in the teeth. They've got pages that they've modernized, but every now and then you'll stumble into a page that hasn't been updated, like the manual journal entry screen, and you're like, ooh, this was from another time. It's not bad. Like, it doesn't ultimately get in the way of doing your work, but generally the vibes are fine. I think it's still a long ways ahead of like traditional ERPs. But if you look around right now, like, what is the super cool modern accounting ledger? We got a couple like newer ones that we're gonna look at, but there isn't anything in the space that's super sexy at the moment. Now, if you look outside of QuickBooks and Xero for SMBs globally, the third option, it's usually Sage. And I struggle with Sage. Like, my mind goes back to Mass 90 and this just really clunky ERP where I'm like, man, this just feels like something from another era, but let's give it a go. They acquired Intact, which is a cloud accounting platform, but that's mid-market. Like, you're tens of thousands of dollars into that. We're not looking at that stuff. We're gonna look at Sage 50. We'll give it the college try, do a vibe check. In the UK, Sage actually has a pretty decent amount of market share, not a ton in the US. Admittedly, I don't know a ton about it. Okay, Sage 50, powerful accounting for a small business. Kind of looks like old Sage, right? Can we just jump straight into a vibe check? Oh, it's not cheap. What's that work out to? So the middle of the road one, $70 per user per year. I guess that's pretty normal now. Let's do a vibe check. Watch an overview. This video is no longer available because the YouTube account associated with it has been terminated. What does that mean? It means they're not paying much attention to their landing page, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. There's people that will get excited about this and people that long for the days of yore, Mass 90, that sort of thing, and they'll probably love this. Maybe it makes sense for more complicated businesses too. I could say it's not my vibe. Let's find someone actually using this thing. Okay, here we go. Sage 50 Cloud Accounting Overview. Oh, baby. That takes me right back. I don't know, man. If that lights your fire, more power to you. But it doesn't feel like a cool, like, modern accounting ledger. Wait a minute. Desktop accounting software with cloud connectivity. Hang on, what does that even mean? Is this desktop software? Have I been fooled? Didn't that say Sage 50? It does, Sage 50 Cloud. What is Sage 50 Cloud? All right, there's no such thing as Sage 50 Cloud on their products? Okay, to the Google, what's the difference between Sage 50 and Sage 50 Cloud? It seems to just be a cloud version. Is it a hosted version? You know what tells me what I need to know? The fact that the only thing I can find on Sage's website is their desktop accounting software. If Sage 50 Cloud is a different thing, it sure doesn't seem like they want you to know about it. And honestly, that's probably all I need to know. Okay, up next is a company that's actually raised a bunch of money lately. I like proper startup building a new ledger from scratch. Drum roll, please. called Puzzle. Put those skinny jeans on. It's got like that cool kind of new tech company vibe, right? Now, they talk a lot about accounting for startups. I don't know if they're like just handling the startup stuff, which honestly is not that much different to a lot of traditional things. Maybe that's just where they're starting with their marketing. One-click tax package. That's just reports, right? Cash and accruals together at last. What does that mean?
What do you mean by that?
On-demand bookkeepers ask a human accountant in-app. I have to imagine that's just like your little support bubble here, right? Okay, I found the page for accountants. Speed up the close process. Take on more clients. If I just want to go outside, how about that? Puzzle helps you save time and get more done. Increase efficiency and capacity. I can't tell what it actually does. Simultaneous cash and accrual books. What? First dual cash and accrual accounting in one system. What does that mean? Let's jump straight to the vibes. Can't tell if cool or charlatan. Okay, I watched an overview from the CEO. It's pretty cool. So this is the landing page. It's got like a dashboard overview kind of thing. Honestly, every single accounting system has this now. It's hard to say like what one is better. One interesting thing, you scroll down a bit, you've got this like cash in and cash out, and you can drill into all of these sections as far as you want. That's pretty cool. It's like, it's not a financial statement, but I don't know, most of your SMB clients don't understand financial statements, right? So like to be able to drill in that far, that's pretty interesting. The whole like dashboard overview page, it's always a data quality problem, right? There's a snapshot in time in which it's helpful, and that's the moment that you close the books. And then about 12 minutes later, it's out of date. Got some cool visualizations for like spend management. One thing I really like is they are doing like automated accruals for revenue recognition. You can see here they've got columns for invoice total, total recognized, total deferred, and then totals by month. That's one of those things where it's like, man, why isn't that built into QuickBooks? A lot of these things, honestly, just a new like modernized version. We may not need a whole ton of new bells and whistles. The tools we have today have just been around for so long, they just kind of feel bloated because they keep adding things and adding things. Another interesting thing they do, they run through an example here of asking the AI, how should I categorize this computer purchase? This is for a normie, this is not for an accountant, but it puts it into computer and hardware, but then it automatically starts depreciating it. So there's like a whole depreciation schedule built for that Apple computer, and it will then do book depreciation over some sort of term that it arrived at. That's interesting. Most of my clients don't have like book depreciation on their books, but this is like in the direction of, well, yeah, like why doesn't my accounting system do this, right? Handle the accruals on an automated basis. Don't make me post a journal entry every single month. It's cool. That'll be a fun one to follow, see how Puzzle develops. Okay, dark horse alert, Zoho Books. I don't know if you've poked around Zoho lately. It's kind of awesome, and it's like every app under the sun. There's actually some cool accounting firms to be built around specific tech stacks, like construction companies that use this specific tool, that sort of thing. You can totally build a cool firm around like Zoho businesses. You run your entire accounting firm on the Zoho suite of products, and you work with other businesses who have done the same, and you're like the Zoho accountant. Like that would be cool, right? Now I don't know a ton about their accounting offering besides generally most of the stuff they do is pretty good. It is full double entry, full like accrual and cash reports. Let's just jump to a vibe check. That tells us a lot, right? It also tells you a lot when you can't find like any evidence of anybody actually using this product. That's usually a useful signal to pay attention to also. It looks, I don't know, fine, like not razzle dazzle. Each of these sections unfurls and gives you way more detail. This is maybe the least visually razzle dazzle of all of the ledgers we're looking at today. That being said, if you're looking at that whole Zoho suite, probably makes a lot of sense to pull this in. Okay, two more. Let's look at Wave. Now, Wave took a lot of heat initially because it wasn't like a grown-up accounting system. Again, if it doesn't do double entry, is it even accounting, bro? And it started like FreshBooks did as like a super light, not real ledger way for a micro business to manage their books. But it is not that way anymore. It's full double entry, cash and accrual reporting. And I don't want to spoil anything, but the vibes, not bad. Be the boss, not the bookkeeper. The one thing about Wave is they don't do anything accountant facing, as far as I can tell. Like they don't have an accountant channel. I've never seen them at conferences. So do they love me? I don't know that they actually do. You get a much more like visually modern interface with Wave, even more so I would say than FreshBooks. So you got all your options down the left-hand side. It feels a little more up to date. Does estimates, invoices, recurring invoices, payments, customer statements, all the stuff that you would expect. In my experience, the make or break for accountants is usually what that like matching or reconciliation screen looks like. That's where you're gonna live or die. Because we're not doing the invoicing, we're not doing all the stuff that our clients may do. Now there was a time when Wave was like kind of a joke. As far as like doing technical, small business accounting. Frankly, these days, it's pretty good. Biggest knock, I don't see them engaging with accountants, so I don't know that there's like a feedback loop there where accountants are really speaking into the product, and usually that means there's some gaps there. Okay, last one. They just raised a bunch of money, Campfire, to rebuild a cool modern accounting system from scratch is the idea. The modern approach to accounting. Buckle in for some razzle-dazzle landing page action. Look at this. Whee! Everything finance all in one place. It looks great, right? They even have like a landing page just for accounting pros. Look at this, for accounting firms, level up your client conversations. Finally, accounting software that truly understands and caters to the needs of accounting finance professionals. You know what I can't find though? Is literally any footage of it on the entire internet. It's not on YouTube. You gotta like sign up to do a demo. So as far as vibes go, it is a non-complete. So Campfire's out, okay? That'll be a good one to watch though. Hopefully they build something awesome. Okay, my main takeaway is having gone through this exercise, because more people are looking at going away from QuickBooks, and I won't even comment on whether that's a good idea or not. One, the bad ledgers have gotten way better. There's a lot that used to be a joke. Now like double entry and cash on accrual basis reports come standard. So whatever you thought those things were in the past, that's not them anymore. Two, QuickBooks fixation is a very American thing. The other solutions aren't immature when the rest of the world runs on them. Three, there's a real lack of like recent options. We got Puzzle, which is relatively new. We got Campfire, which hopefully develops into something great, but it would be good to see some more fresh blood, right? But four, honestly, like you can get by on probably any of these. In an accounting firm, running a successful, profitable accounting firm, I genuinely think you have bigger fish to fry than which ledger am I going to choose. As much as we like to talk shop and like inside baseball geek on this stuff, it's not gonna be the thing that like determines whether or not your firm is successful. Now, a big thing that can, getting your tech right, man, getting that tech right. And it all starts with having great IT support for your accounting firm. Roll the music, please. What's your IT strategy right now? Huh? You slow rolling Costco and finding a deal on an NCAP Inspiron XC9700 cheap loss leader deal of the week? Stop it. You're not an IT professional. What if somebody hacks into the mainframe when it's crunch time? What are you gonna do then? You need a talented team of IT professionals that are on your side, okay? And even better, you need pros that just work with accounting firms. They understand you, you little snowflake. Simple as this, okay? 2 words for you. Tech guru. The IT firm that just works with accounting firms, because why would they want to work with anybody else, right? Right. It is weird if you think about it. Like if you ran an IT company and you're like, accountants, and then you actually talked with them, you're like, yeah, these are my people. That's weird, right? Anyway, you know they care because you see them actually out at accounting conferences. Tomorrow morning, I'm headed out the door to an accounting conference. I know. They're gonna be there exhibiting. We talked about the value of having a partner that understands what you do to have that feedback loop. Where this IT company already works with loads of firms and talks to those accountants all day long so that when you join the squad, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, no, you already do get it. You already work with a bunch of people that use all the apps that I use. Not the IT shop down the street where it's like, what the heck is this software that you use? This is terrible. And you're like, I do tax returns, I'm sorry, I don't have an option. So sorry. You get it, okay? You're not an IT professional, you're a strong, talented accountant. Leave the IT stuff to the pros. It's honestly as simple as giving them a call, like just, you got better things to worry about, all right? Okay, go do it. Link's gonna be in the video description. Don't overthink it. So there you have it, QuickBooks alternatives. And did you know, there's actually a bunch of pretty solid Excel alternatives. I know, blasphemy. There's smoke rolling out of my 10 key right now. We did a whole roundup of Excel alternatives. I'll link that one. You might find something that changes your life. I'm just saying. It might happen. It could happen. You could fall in love. Finally.